snacks.
What it do, snackers, snackettes, and snack X's? It's your boy Gage. I'm here with Jokes, and Sin and You are now tuned into Loading Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about all kinds of things that are happening in pop culture. And today,
Today?
today we're gonna get into our game of the year so far. I know it's close to the end of the year,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm having difficulty. So, I think now is a good time for us to have, like, we've talked about this a little bit before earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
We still have games that are yet to come out.
Mm-hmm.
So what's up,
Yo.
Cuddy? There's, I think, some good discussion to be had. I just kind of want to see where we all are, and there are some things that are happening that I think are worth discussing. Also, of course, Jeff Keighley and his folks over at the Game Awards have announced their nominations and so forth. And though we're not going to do what we have done in years previous, which is go through all of them and make a bunch of predictions and so forth, we are certainly going to have some discussion around them because I think that some of the decisions they have made warrant discussion. So we're going to discuss that. We're going to talk a bit about the seriousness of portable gaming, kind of where we are right now with that landscape. And we are going to talk about Wicked. However, what's up, Andrew? Before we do that, Jokes has a job to do.
Yes, sir.
That job is to get the Beacons link up for you. As I have mentioned, I think once over the last 2 weeks, we do now have a Blue Sky account. There is a post there. Listen,
Nothing but blue sky.
social media is a special beast. It requires tender love and care. And like oddly well thought out like plans, as like a lot of times. Like you just it's not a simple simplified beast that many people are able to use it for when you're just posting like your personal life blog. This is what I did today. This is what I ate today.
Right.
I don't, whatever. This is what I'm wearing today. I don't, whatever. So like for one, I've never been a big fan of the thread platform, period. Never liked message boards. Don't like how they're constructed. They just don't work for my mind. And all Twitter is a message board with thread after thread after thread. So Reddit's not my place. Twitter's not my place. Blue Sky will also not be my place. However, hi, Heather. Valiant effort. The old
College
higher education tribe, if you will. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Again, we're figuring some things out. So I just want you to know it's there.
With a post.
There will be more.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Oh yeah, facts.
Start with.
It's not for a week with nothing. So like again, toddler steps, something like that. It's not like we don't know social media, but it's also not like the platform itself is difficult. It's still another platform. So
yeah,
it's just some more work, more than you might imagine. Sin,
yes, sir.
you have another job to do,
Yes,
which
so let's.
comes from another platform.
Yes. Yes. So let's shout out our top tier patrons. Started with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dorsch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, Ellis Mbe, and Kermit Ferguson. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
We absolutely do. Your contributions are going to help us get some new equipment. like in the next week. Um, Also, if you're on Patreon and you may have noticed a post that went live a couple of days ago about some new shirt designs that are
Merch.
to you. It didn't get shared with everyone else. So
Mhm.
you go check that out and look at that link before everybody else gets to, because
Mhm.
it's coming soon.
It's right around the corner.
Yeah. Jokes.
Yes, sir.
You went and saw Wicked.
Hmm.
I also saw Wicked. What are your thoughts?
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, being I didn't know it was 2.5 hours, so I wasn't
Let's
sure
call it.
what I was. Yeah, pretty much. Like being a musical, I was like, oh, I'm a little iffy about, going in here and like they're literally going to be singing from beginning of the movie to the end, or how they were going to piece and do it together versus the live stage. But I will tell you, they did a pretty damn good job. Um, I thoroughly enjoyed it from beginning to end, and now I have the soundtrack on replay.
Let me tell you something, Jokes. I think this is the best movie I've seen this year. Like, I'm almost positive this is the best movie I've seen this year. This movie is so entertaining.
The whole way
From
through. The whole way through.
It's so entertaining. It is so incredible to listen to. There is so much happening on screen at any given time. I am going to see this
I'm
again.
going to see this again.
Like, I already bought my tickets.
Hey, a
Okay.
friend of mine's at work. He's seen it 3 times already.
All right, that. Here's the thing. To each their own. Somebody asked me while I was at the theater if I had seen or was planning to see Gladiator 2.
Hmm.
I was like, no. No. The only reason why I'm even interested in Gladiator 2 is because it's Gladiator 2.
Hmm.
That's it. I like the first Gladiator. I think I originally loved the first Gladiator.
Hmm.
Okay.
At this point, eh, it's probably great. It could be incredible. There's nothing about it that makes me want to go see it in the theater.
Hmm.
Gotcha.
Wicked, however, immediately the first time I saw a trailer, we discussed it and watched it on this show. I was like, oh, I'm going to see
I
this.
will see that.
I'm immediately going to see this. Secondly, after seeing it, I only want to see it again in the theater. I'm upgrading.
Okay.
Like, I saw it in a regular theater. I gotta step up. Like, I actually gotta take it to the next level. I need better audio. I need better
Did you
video.
go to Dolby Jokes when you saw it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just checking. Okay.
I was fortunate enough because like I got off work. I went to see the 9:30 showing, and like that was the first available one was the Dolby Cinema Zone. So I was like,
Gotcha. Okay.
Speaking of that, weren't you supposed to be watching wrestling or something instead of that?
Yeah.
yeah.
What
So
happened was we
Wait. I'm asking Jokes. Why are you answering for Jokes? Because
hey, listen.
and listen. Here's why I'm doing that, because you were the one specifically
But
when
here's
it
what's funny.
came up between us who was like, "Hold up, you can't go see that. We
Funny
gotta watch
enough,
wrestling."
and he's kind of the one that made the decision because originally Marcus had asked, "Hey, yo, what time we're recording?" And Sin was like, "Oh, I don't know. Jokes gonna go see Wicked." Like that was straight up what he said. And I was like, "Bro, we had the talk."
We did.
And then I was just like, all right, answer me. Are we doing this tonight? He was like, go see Wicked. And I was like, fine, we recording the next day then. So he honestly made the decision.
Mm. So I just want to make sure I understand. He gave you hell and then called the audible for you.
Yes, he did.
All right, good. Because you know what's getting ready to happen? I'm getting ready to turn the tides, and I'm getting ready to give Sin some hell right now. I'll tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Only because this just happened. I'm gonna tell you why. Last night when we got done recording, right? What were me and Sin doing?
Y'all, what were y'all playing?
River City Girls 2.
Yeah.
We got off last night.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm good. I'm off. Sin said to me, I'm gonna hit you as soon as I get in the house. We getting back in there.
Uh-oh.
Never heard from this guy.
Oh no!
You pulling the jokes on me. Don't do that.
Check your text messages.
Oh,
I don't know text messages from you.
Yeah. Oh yes. You do. Yes, you do. Oh hell no! Because I hit you once I got settled.
You better make sure that text went through. You may hit
at 6:30 at 6:33, River City.
I
Question mark. I haven't seen right.
I don't screenshot and send it to me. I'm just telling you, I don't have no text from you.
Did you send it to
I
the
came
right
home from the
person in
movie,
your phone?
turned the box on.
No.
You was in the home screen. You weren't in the game. Hey, Jokes, while he gets that screenshot sent.
There we go.
You're planning to go see Wicked again.
Yeah.
Why?
So first thing, I've not actually really been to like an actual, on stage theater type of experience to get. And I think
no live Broadway play.
No live Broadway, any type of thing. So for me, this is kind of that, honestly, the footage, because right now I'm in the mindset like I don't want to wait till next year. I'm gonna wait for next year for the movie, but I kind of want to actually go see this on stage. But like you said, there was so much going on, the music, like just everything. This makes me it made me want to see this again. Like it's not like a normal movie that you see and it's kind of like, I don't really need to go back and see that again. But just because of just the pure entertainment that I got from what they did, the performances, I was just enthralled and wanted to go see it again. And just like you said, in the theater, like sound and air, like I want that whole experience at least one more time before getting it home. Like I got a decent sound system at home, but it still doesn't compare to what you would get inside of the theater.
I will say that, like, I think because of the nature of the kind of movie this is, right? Like I saw Deadpool and Wolverine more than once in the theater. That's really not uncommon for me to go see a movie like that a second time. Like I'll go see it regular, and then I'll go. I mean, we had to go sit in the moving seats. Like that's we had to go for the ride. You know what I mean? We went and saw the movie, then we went on the ride, basically, right? It's not super uncommon for me, and that's the way I was looking to elevate this, like that viewing experience, and knowing like, it's gonna be home in a month. You know what I'm saying, or whatever, and that's cool. I can watch it again, and I can kind of dig into the details or whatever. It still is a very different kind of experience, and what this brings in terms of being a musical feels much more like it's a staged thing, and there is something about experiencing it, which is a thing I think you can obviously do from home, right? Like you can watch musicals on TV or whatever at home. And I'll be honest, I am considering. So one of the problems with this movie right now for people is that people are complaining about people singing the songs in the theater.
Yeah, I've been seeing that.
I get it, but it's
well, look, they are releasing a sing-along version of the movie in December.
Okay. I'm finna go to that because that is going to be some entertaining.
Sing along?
Hey, listen, I got a few of the lines, so probably so, but it's gonna be entertaining. I feel like I'm gonna be real with you. The sing along experience, I feel like it's going to be more of how when we used to go to like MCU movies, like at the midnight showing. I feel
Mhm,
like you're going to get more of that type of
mhm,
experience, and that's part of the reason why I want to go to it.
mhm.
Like, you would your people that are going to be in here. That's part of the reason I want to go see
The
the sing
experience.
along version. Yes,
Yeah. What a ridiculously good movie. Really, really, really good movie. And like when I say I think it's the best movie I've seen this year, I mean that. A movie like that and Deadpool and Wolverine are not clearly
it's
are
not
not
in
the
the
same kind. They're
not the
not the
same.
same kind of thing. But if I had to like pick one over the other, it's this.
Hmm.
It's this. What's up, Doctor Who? It's just one. It's just a really good story. It's a Wicked as a piece of content has been around for a very long
Oh, a
time.
very long time. I didn't even realize it. Honestly, it
Oh,
was once. So what really prompted it was like I knew the stage play existed, and but I,
you
thinking
didn't
of
know what it was?
I think so. Like when they originally announced it ages ago, I kind of was just like, "Oh, what is this? Wizard of Oz Part 2 or something?" I don't think it really piqued my interest, so I just didn't pay it any mind.
Hmm.
And then what really drove now is, and going to see the movie, and then Adina Menzel showed up in there. For me at that time, meant nothing. I was just like, "Oh, Elsa is in Wicked."
That's so disrespectful.
Hey,
It's
listen,
her
listen.
else, but I understand because
Yeah,
that's how most mainstream people know her. Yeah.
and I love Frozen. And so then when I went to go look up, why she was in it to find out that, she was it when it first came out, I was like, "Oh, let me
And
put
the
some more respect on your name right now."
and
And then to go back and like I've watched clips from her performance on the stage and doing it, I'm just like, "Oh, this is a different this
Miranda Kristen Chenoweth.
hmm I'm like,
Both. Yeah.
this is a different beast of something right now." So I'm like, I really want to see the stage play.
Let's talk about that. I mean, we can make that be a thing. Um, I highly recommend it. If you can do musicals, like if you like
Mhm.
musicals, if you like Disney musicals, if you like musicals, it's got all the standard tropes. Ariana Grande is she's so good at being
Uh, Ooh,
dumb. Like she's so good at being like what most people remember her being from, like starting her career as an actress and kind of being like a
Mhm.
little bit ditzy, kind of dumb blonde kind of thing.
I hated Glinda for a little bit of that movie. I was like, "Oh,
Glenn, you're
you,
supposed to, and
you're a
that's the whole
little,
point of the
ooh."
movie. Yeah, turning things on its head a little bit. It is. It's a very good kind of inside, like
Mhm.
this is the real story of what happened kind of thing. Um, boy, one, they act they A's off, and
Woo,
two, they be singing,
they
bro.
be singing
They be singing in this joint, bro.
from the moment that don't start. You get that singing.
Bruh. Yeah. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. I don't have anything else to say about that. Sin,
Mhm.
how many portable game systems have you owned? Oof,
5 or 6, thinking roughly.
5 or 6.
Hmm.
Original Game Boy,
Definitely.
GBA,
Yes.
SP.
DS. SP. No.
Pocket in the color.
No. Didn't have that. Had the
Regular
DS.
DS.
Had a Vita.
You didn't have a PSP?
PSP.
No. No.
No PSP.
Mm.
You had a Vita
Yes. And Switch.
and Switch.
Yeah.
Jokes? What's your
Uh,
portable gaming console library been like?
I've had every Game Boy with the exception of the SP. The SP was the
So
only
mini,
one.
the micro,
Actually, the SP and the mini. Like I didn't get the smaller ones.
the micro.
So
Okay.
yeah, but pretty much had all the main. So or OG Game Boy, Pocket, Color, Advanced, SP, Advanced DS. I'm tripping.
Mm-hmm.
DS. I have a DS Lite. I have a DS XL because they had the
All right.
Pokemon version, so I had to get them. PSP, the Vita, Game Gear. Um, I think that I think that's all of them.
It's funny you threw Game Gear in there at the end, but that's the real. That definitely is a portable
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
gaming console,
Those don't run on 6 AA batteries.
Woo.
and them
Joe
joints
ran on
fly.
that on 6 AA batteries.
That joint was super heavy, and that joint ate batteries. Ate them joints, bro.
Oh my god.
Um,
So asking my aunt left and right, hey, we got some AA batteries in the house. What you keep doing? I'm playing my game gear.
I need a whole pack.
hey, dog, but that's the thing. You were playing it in the house. You could have just plugged it in.
I could have, but
All
I
That's on
right,
you.
didn't.
never
That's
mind.
on you. Yeah.
Never mind. Never mind. We got nothing else to talk about. Um, what is your? Let me say this. I have never been outside of owning the original Game Boy, and I owned SPs and DSs and DS Lights and a GBA and a Game Gear and like I have, at least as an adult, never really had any use for a portable game system.
Mhm.
It just never did really anything for me. And it always bothered me that like there were versions of games that maybe I wanted to play or that I would like to play or that reviewed very well, but they were like locked to this little portable system that like for me, if I'm in the house on the couch, I'm playing on the TV. I want the
Mhm.
biggest and best screen. That's the whole point for me.
Mhm.
And the point of having it be portable is to do that when you don't have access to that, when you can't do that for me. Right. And so, more or less, ever since I've been able to drive, I have not had a need for portable gaming. Don't ride the train, don't ride the bus. That doesn't mean I haven't been on a plane ride or a train ride or on a bus,
Right.
but not often enough to be like, I need a portable game system. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I have always been intrigued slash fascinated with portable gaming. Just what they do to kind of shrink it down. Like a GBA was SNES in a portable form,
Right.
which was like incredible. I had a PSP only because they gave it to me. Like it was handed to me, so I had it. I was in love with UMDs. I thought they were cool.
Mhm.
The original Game Boy, I was in elementary school and miniature NES cartridges. It was cool. It was neat. I liked it. It worked. And I had a desire slash need for something
Mhm.
like that. And now, Switch means nothing to me. It is and would be just. It is interesting to me that, Jokes, you did not mention the Switch as a portable console, but
You
Sin, you
know
did.
what? I didn't even think about. I don't know why. When you think, I was
Because
just
it's
going straight old
technically
school.
not one, but it is one.
Yeah.
So which one is it? Right? Um, and it's both.
Mhm.
And we're at this place now where even though it has been a concern for manufacturers, for console manufacturers, I'm going to say over like the last 15 to 20 years, really, I honestly think they are just now truly getting serious about it. We're going to talk about why that is, like why I think that's happening. So if you look at Nintendo as a company, their successes and failures, they've always had the most success in the
Mm-hmm.
handheld space.
100%. Yeah, they dominate that space. Well,
Others have tried it. Sony tried it. People loved the Vita. It didn't sell well. Didn't work out. PSP, there's multiple versions of it. It just didn't work out. Um, you know, Xbox never really tried it. Nintendo kind of always had that on lock. They just, it is what it is. Didn't work out for Atari. The Lynx was not the move. Regular consoles didn't work out for Sega, so
yeah.
Game Gear was not the move. Sega did the Nomad, which was literally a portable Genesis. Where you could plug in full Genesis cartridges and run Genesis games on it. So, like, portable gaming has been a thing they've been trying to do forever. But I think what's happened is the Steam Deck. And I think the Steam Deck only happened because the Switch. So Nintendo's biggest failure as a console developer that isn't the the portable strap it to your face, red in your eyes, is probably the Wii U. Which is a failure because tablets and cell phones started to become so normal, so synonymous. It was their biggest rival to portable gaming. They were seeing a dip in their portable sales because of that. Now there's new competition that exists everywhere all the time. And really, the Switch is the best of both worlds for what the Wii U really is. There are in some ways, I don't even really think the Wii U was a failure. I think the Wii U was the Switch prototype. Like, I just feel like it was the prototype that they put out in front of people and they got some money from it. Because the reality of it is a very large portion of the Switch's best-selling titles are just Wii U games.
U ports.
They're just Wii U ports. That's it. So last week, Sony did an update to the PlayStation Portal. Did you guys see this?
I can't remember if I saw it or not. I want to say I think I did.
All right. Well, the PlayStation Portal was released just over like a year ago. And it is basically just like a way to remotely play your PlayStation 5 from within your house. It's basically a PlayStation 5 controller with a screen in the middle.
Yeah.
But that's really all it is. Until last week, when they did an update that now allows you to play games in the cloud from it. You don't even actually have to own a PlayStation 5.
Okay.
Now, you do need PlayStation Plus Premium. Okay. And the day after that, Xbox announced that you are now able to cloud stream games that you own instead of only being able to stream games that are part of Game Pass. So, their blog post was like, this is the thing that people have been asking for. If you are, again, you have to be a Game Pass Ultimate,
of course,
member. But if you are, then now games that you actually own, even if they aren't a part of Game Pass, and right now it's a limited number of titles, like 50 titles.
Okay.
You are able to stream to your Samsung TV with your Xbox, to your Fire TV with the Xbox app, to your Mac or your laptop or your PC at xbox.com/game. Like, you can now access games, and they are saying, like, we're going to continue to work with our partners to make that a thing. We also know that like 2 or 3 weeks ago, Phil Spencer said, yes, we are absolutely making a portable
Handheld.
console.
Yeah.
We're making a handheld,
Mhm.
but it's a couple years out. Like it's a few years out. Like it's not like it's coming
Right. Don't
next year.
expect it. Yeah.
Like that.
No time soon.
But then, like yesterday or the end of last week, new rumors hit that there's a new PlayStation handheld, possibly another Portal, that is in the works. Possibly a PlayStation 5 Portal Pro, something
Right.
like that.
Right.
Which is a thing I feel like most people were like, that's totally that field. They weren't expecting it. Because almost everybody, when they saw the update go live for this,
Mhm.
they were like, yeah, well, they're clearly not doing a new one. Well, apparently they are.
Possible. Yeah.
What do you think is driving this move for these two console manufacturers?
Maybe trying to get, maybe looking at how much people are on the go and on the move and things of that nature. And people have been asking for these things for years. And maybe it's just been tough trying to figure out how to snatch away some of that market share from Nintendo and, well, the Steam Deck now. So maybe they've taken the time to do their research, look at the numbers, see what people are playing and talking about out there. And maybe they've got their pulse on where they want to take these devices now that the technology has come along so
That's
far.
awesome.
And maybe they're going to, just take a gamble on it this time around and see, since people have been asking for these things for them for decades, for a long time now. So that's what I'm thinking.
Jokes, you feel the same way?
I think the biggest factor, besides the point of people just being more mobile and moving around, I think it's the technology piece, because even on the Switch, some of your big AAA titles that they've been able to bring over to the Switch and have it run, it runs, but
Just not
looking
well.
bad, not necessarily performing good. I feel like with PlayStation and Xbox, they want you to have that same experience as close as you possibly can to what it is being hooked right up to your TV. And I think now with, you know, internet connections becoming better, um, more stabilization that they've been able to do with cloud infrastructure, I think now they're starting to transition over to whereas now like it's truly feasible to say like, listen, we can give you this handheld and you're pretty much going to get almost that same power of resolution and things out of this that you would with your console at home, even streaming it from the cloud.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to tell you that I also think that Apple has a lot to play in this. Hey, Mom. Um, we are seeing full regular console version releases of titles like Resident Evil being playable directly on iPad, directly on iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
They're straight up regular console release SKUs, right? And with the way that the market has been, the need for developers to be able to get their SKUs on everything, to have it everywhere. I think if you're able to fulfill that need for the developer, you stand to really grab up some market share. And so now it's going to be about whose ecosystem do you play in when you can play everywhere, right? So yes, you can stream from PlayStation and PlayStation games, but you gotta be a PlayStation Plus premium member. Cuddy says, you want portable for Xbox or PS, get a backbone. Handheld's not for me. Light gauge, give me my big TV. Look, I agree. I have a backbone that I use. I did use it for my phone, and the one that I bought when I upgraded my phone doesn't extend wide enough for my phone anymore. My new phone is bigger, so I can't use it anymore. But I can. I mean, you can just Bluetooth a regular controller to it. So really, as long as you,
That's what I was doing.
yeah. I mean, I have a stand that's connected to my case, and so I can do that. But also, I mean, I bought a portable monitor that just you can just connect like
Yeah.
um yeah, I mean, look, I think that sales of something like the Xbox Series S for its size and its power have been a major motivating factor. I think that the Steam Deck, for what it can do at its price point, right? If you want like the highest end Steam Deck, you're looking at like $700. It's like 650, right? For the highest power, the best screen, and the highest amount of storage. Um, and more games are becoming playable on it. It does hook up directly to a TV or a monitor, so you can basically use it in the same way you would use a Switch. And then you can connect additional controllers to it. You just have to know that you're still kind of dealing with a computer operating system when you do that. And there are still some slight quirks and stuff like that that you might have to deal with and work out versus, if your game is in the cloud. I will tell you that right now, the thing that is probably the most valuable to me as a consumer with a large digital footprint in dollars spent for games, I take my Xbox everywhere. If I'm in a hotel, Xbox is there. Like, that's just, and yes, I could just use my phone, but why?
No.
They got these TVs with these HDMIs in them just begging me to hook up my box. But here's what's happened over the last like year. Now, when you check into a hotel, and it depends on the hotel, obviously, but now when you check into a hotel, most hotels now have either an LG or a Samsung television in the rooms. And the newest thing that's happened is now you can go into the room. You have free Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff or whatever. But if you have a Netflix account, Netflix is built into the TV. You just log into your account and watch Netflix because you have a Netflix account. You're paying for it, or whatever, right? Now, the downside to that has been, because that's been a thing you could do for quite some time. The downside to that has been you don't necessarily want to log into your account and then check out of a room and leave yourself logged into, right?
Yeah.
You open yourself up to the largest can of worms. But now what happens, and again, not necessarily in all cases, but in a lot of cases, like you go into a room. Last hotel I stayed in, when you go and you check in, when you walk in the room, it says, "Hi, Brandon," or whatever your name is, right? Knows it's you. You're logged in and specified. If you log into your Netflix account, your Prime account, your whatever while you're there, when you check out, it automatically logs you out of everything.
That's smart.
Now, what Andrew said, remember when hotels had N64 controllers? I do remember that. And it would have bothered me if I wasn't such a monster at N64 GoldenEye. Monster. Now, imagine you're just, you have this library of games that you quote unquote own, that you've paid for, right? And you go to the hotel and the Xbox app is right there.
Yep.
And you just sign in and your controller works via Bluetooth and you just hook it up and you start playing and you're playing via cloud, right? Look, I'm not trying to pretend that playing from the console wouldn't be better still.
Of course. And who knows with that hotel Wi-Fi sometimes we try to do something like that.
But I'm going to tell you what. Hotel Wi-Fi is actually pretty strong. There'd be a lot of people on hotel Wi-Fi. I'm just saying, like, maybe you don't want to jump into a shooter
Yeah,
and
something like
compete with people.
Yeah, but some
You
single
know, maybe
player
that's
base
not
or
where
something
you
like
want to
that.
be if
Yeah,
you're doing something like that, right? But like, if I was playing it at home and then I jumped on a plane and flew to wherever, and I picked up and played my game from my same cloud save on my phone while I was on the way, didn't have to take the console, don't even have to use that controller, can slap the backboard on, can use the touchscreen. And then I get to the hotel and I can log in and literally pick up again right from where I left off. It starts to make the world sound perfect. Like I don't know. Like I'm just saying that like there's a certain level of ubiquity that I think they are looking for right now. That is the same as, you know, like I have Jokes, do you have a Movies Anywhere account?
Yep.
Yeah. Why?
Because when originally, like when the digital copies were coming with the movies, it was like ultraviolet, and then
Mm-hmm.
eventually it evolved to Movies Anywhere. So my library shifted to Movies Anywhere, and I've just had it ever since then. And every now and then, certain places give you free movies, and they just dump right in there. Like my Microsoft, like the one stuff that I buy, like on the Microsoft store, goes to Movies
Automatically go.
Anywhere.
Right.
So it's like it's a no brainer whenever certain things get purchased, because then it's just accessible on literally everything
Mm-hmm.
that you could possibly do.
You tie your account, you tie your Prime account, your Microsoft account, your whatever account, anywhere that you buy movies, as long as they have a deal with Movies Anywhere, you log into Movies Anywhere and it just
And you
works.
got access to
Like
them.
your movies are just there, right? And that's that ubiquity, right? That for whatever reason, right? If you have a PlayStation account and you're buying movies, right, through that account,
right.
you can't just go to a hotel and then log into your PlayStation account and watch your movies that that you have.
Right.
But you can log into Movies Anywhere
Mm-hmm.
and watch them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing, right? You're looking for that same kind of ubiquity, and I think that that's where the idea of portability and what they're going to be looking to give us. I think that there's going to be more to it than the gameplay part of it.
I do
Mm-hmm.
too. I'll do a little
Um,
more Steam Deckish, I'm thinking. Right.
yeah, I mean, look, the Steam Deck. The beauty of it is, if you really want to, they're just like, you can take this joint apart.
Yeah, and do whatever you want.
Here's all
Add
the
your own
pieces. Here's
extra
all the parts. If you
storage.
want to take it apart, change it, do something new to it. You want to run Linux on it. You want to
I
install
love
Windows
that.
on it. Do it. It's
I love
basically
that.
your PC. That's portable, right? I don't want that kind of complication though. I
Mm-hmm.
do love it, but I don't really want that kind of complication. Not at this point in my life. When I was 27, I'd buy something and tear it apart.
Tear it
Something that
all the
wasn't
way
supposed
down.
to come apart. I tear it apart and take stuff out of it and put stuff back into it. I don't
Just
want to
tell
do
you,
that.
this don't come apart. Like
That's why I buy Lego sets with instructions, which, by the way, are also digital. Log into the
Very
app
true.
and you put it what it
Very
is.
true.
oh, you don't
And
they don't
I
put paper Jones in there now. You just go to
there's
the
now
app.
they got
Yeah,
paper ones.
but yeah,
Oh, but they give you both options. I
yeah.
like that. I like that.
Oh, listen, I got greasy thumbs, bro. You know what I mean? I get thumbprints on my manuals, dog. I don't like
And
that.
then you better touch the screen to still
I want
swipe.
the pristine. I want the pristine manual. You know what I'm saying? That's just why mess that up. Look, I think it's interesting, right? And obviously, this reminds me, at least on the Xbox side, it reminds me a little bit more of what Game Pass was like when it first came out a number of years ago, and it was like it only had like 50 titles,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And the truth of the matter was, even though I was in the beta for it, and didn't originally have to pay for it, like 90% of what was in that library I already owned.
Yep.
So it didn't even really matter. It wasn't until they really started putting stuff in that it was like, wait a minute, I don't have to buy this. That it started to like,
Oh, it's starting to click.
Try to click.
It was
Yep.
like,
yeah,
Yep.
started to really make.
Like, I'm gonna hold off on this one. This will be a Game Pass in no
They
time.
start. Hey, listen, they started with first party. It's like, hey, listen, Halo. Like, oh, excuse me,
Yeah.
I don't need to buy this new Halo game. I
Nope.
just get it.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Well, again, also the idea of like, if I want to quote unquote have some level of ownership over it, you can still purchase it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You get a discount when you do so. I use it for the DLC for stuff all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I take that discount easy. It's interesting where we are and where it feels like we're going as far as that's concerned. We may do another show where we just kind of talk about what we think these things are going to look like, a year from now. As more stuff hits, I'm expecting that at least by next year, we're going to see a couple of things. One, I think we'll see the Xbox app integration on televisions other than Samsung,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
especially because Samsung they're in a little bit of trouble right now. So I would expect that we see kind of LG get picked up in that realm, but also like with them having to deal with Amazon and doing the Fire TV sticks, Amazon Fire TVs that have it built into them are gonna have it too.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's gonna become more and more standard, more regular. And I'm gonna be honest, I think the Xbox app is going to be on Apple TVs by the end of next year. I I
I don't see why not.
I mean I can tell you why not,
Well,
but
there's reasons, but I think at
you
this
know,
point,
because Apple Arcade is a thing. That would be why not. I could absolutely see Apple wanting to say no, sir. However, I don't think that the FCC or the EU, I don't think they're going to allow Apple to say no, you may not, which is what we've already been to war
Yeah,
with
all
them
about
over with
yeah.
Fortnite and all that. So I think that's a wrap.
They
I
have a
think
choice but
that's
to play ball.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So I just think it's going to be part of what happens. And I will tell you this too. What's today's date? November
26.
26.
26th.
Mm.
November 26th, 2024, 9:17 p.m. I think there will be
Clip
an
it.
Apple Arcade slash Xbox integration of some sort.
Okay.
I think it's coming. I don't know if it'll be within the next year, but within the next 4. I think within the realm of the next 4 years, as they really nail down what the next console generations are going to look like,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and with what is happening with the integration of apps and stores and so forth throughout the US, throughout the EU. Did y'all see what Valve just did?
No.
No, I have not seen that.
Yo, so Steam just changed their policy for developers. You are like no longer allowed to sell like a deluxe edition of a game. Well, you could do a deluxe, like a season pass,
Mm-hmm.
without giving specific dates. Like you have to be able to say
Oh,
like the content. This is what content is. You can't just say there'll be new content coming. Here's a season
Oh.
pass. Like you literally have to say like it doesn't have to be
whatever.
specific. Specific. It got to be like you're getting 2 new weapons and new outfits, and it will be available between March and June. You have to give a quarter and a year for when it's going to be available, or you are not allowed to sell it on Steam anymore.
I like it.
I don't like. I'm
You
gonna say that
cannot
I'm not
do it.
against that.
Yeah.
They are it like it. Real talk is like a such a consumer friendly move.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you look at stuff like Redfall, where like obviously the studio shut down, but they sold people
They,
season passes for
yeah, they made
DLC that's
promises of
clearly
what was
not ever
coming.
coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're not the only ones where that's happened, and the studio certainly didn't shut down, right? So they're like, you have to be more specific about what you are giving people, what you are guaranteeing people, or we will we will just return your joints, like we will refund these joints, or we will not allow it in here at all.
I'm mad at that.
Um,
Not mad at it all. Yeah.
me either.
Yeah.
There are some specifics that we should probably go into. We're not going to go into right now because that wasn't the point. But again, it's the kind of thing that's happening that is like they have so much power in the PC space, and you have the want of console owners like PlayStation, like Xbox, wanting to be able to continue to play in the PC space because there's so much money there
Mm-hmm.
that Steam making a move like that means everybody else got to do something like it, or you're not going
Got
to
to
be
do
able to
it.
sell on that platform, and that's technically the biggest platform.
Yep.
So they're just making the call. Stop promising things that you don't have ready to go.
Yep.
Stop saying that, you know what I mean, just to get this money up front. That then what happens with it, or what are you really giving people, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, those kinds of moves, those kinds of things that are happening, where like the storefronts and the places that are technically in control of all that kind of stuff are kind of forcing the hands of others. And I think that that's the kind of thing that makes it so that like you don't want to keep going to court and fighting with like the FCC, blah
Yeah.
blah blah, or whatever.
Yeah.
Just let Xbox put games on Apple TV and shut up and take this percentage. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, or whatever, right? Like just um. So yeah, I think it's coming. Let's talk game of the year. Jokes.
Mm-hmm.
You're a pretty well-rounded gamer, I would say. You play multiple genres. You do shooters. Um, what would you say is maybe a genre you don't really get down with? What is it that you don't play? Is it puzzles? Is it like, are you not a puzzle gamer?
Probably something in that realm. Um, Probably something along the lines of like that puzzle round than anything else. I feel like I've probably played one here and there, but I feel like that's probably not necessarily the ones that I go specifically to.
Okay.
Um, I think that's a fair assumption because everything else, like first person shooter, online multiplayer, single player campaign, whatever, like those type of things, like I'm in those
Play
RPGs.
RPGs,
Um,
JRPGs,
I'm into all those type of things. So I think
Souls
that's
likes,
you said.
Souls likes, like
Souls likes, I would say, I get in, experience it a little bit, but more or less, I just don't want to take the time to really. I don't get me wrong. If I sat there and took the time,
get good.
I'll get good at it. I just don't want to take, like right now. I bought Elden Ring. Like I bought Elden Ring when that first came out, and
Why? Why, dog? It's the hype. You got caught up in the hype.
Mm-hmm.
and dog, I tell you, I played that joint for 20 minutes. I got in and I got jumped by like
Got dog walk.
five. I got like jumped by five bambas and couldn't do anything. And I'm just like, hey, I just swung my sword and died.
Oh yeah, I know that feeling all too well.
And then
Do
and
you
then I
say
go
did you buy Elden Ring?
No, but I had bought Bloodborne and I bought Demon Souls, and
same.
I learned I got learned real quick.
Yeah, I just didn't take the time. If I took the time and like, I feel like my gaming mentality at certain things like that,
Mhm.
like I'm the type that wants to just get in, be gung ho, and be all that. And that ain't the type of thing. You
Oh,
gotta slow down, more
No,
thinking, more methodical. Like I can do it, but it's just not how my brain functions.
mm-hmm. Oh, I know. Oh, I've seen. Um, which is interesting. I'm just to kind of like whatever. It's my show. We're off and on the rails at all times. That's an interesting thing to me because I don't feel like you're that way in almost any other aspect of life. Like you're not. Let me jump in here and let me just go. Let me just, you know what I mean? Like you're not that way
Mhm.
about anything else. To me, you're much more thought out and methodical
Mhm.
and like kind of contemplating. But when it's time to play games,
Let loose. Let's
it's
get
like,
it.
"Oh, let's get it." Like, it's very interesting to like see the juxtaposition of those two versions of your
Mhm.
personality. You know what I mean? Like it's a very interesting thing. Now, I send I've known you for decades.
hmm
I pretty much know what your gaming experiences are like, but we all like things a little bit different. We like a lot of the same things, but we also like a lot of different things. What are
yeah.
genres that you just are like it wouldn't even, it doesn't matter what they say or what they do, it's not coming across your hands. Not happening.
Ooh, very very rare a puzzler will sneak past that I do get into. Other than that,
Mhm.
that's not really my thing. Like I think the last puzzle I really got into was Picross on the DS.
Okay.
I don't know what it was about. I think I wanted something new. Around working at GameStop time or whatever, and people were saying how good it was. Like, whatever. Like, let me.
I'm
And
in
it ended
GameStop.
up
Let
being
me try
crack. Yeah, it ended up being crack to me. Like, I could not put it down. Like,
Put it
if I
down.
still had mine, I would still probably play it to this day. Like, I was just hooked on that game. So I would probably kind of like Joe's, like puzzlers. Like, I really don't pay attention too much. It's got to be creep on me like that somehow, and I just give it a shot. And the next thing you know, like Tetris, of course, it's a classic.
I'll play some.
Yeah, like I'll play Tetris. Like it's not no big thing, but yeah, puzzler is probably the biggest one I stay away from.
Walking simulators.
Yes,
Gone Home, Firewatch.
I'll give Firewatch a try. Well, I know of Going Home, but I haven't paid attention to it.
Okay.
But yes, the simulators like that, I'm interested in those like that. Like when I see like those simulators online, like Roller Coaster Tycoon or cities and stuff like that, I love those things. They take a lot of time and patience to really get into them. Though.
Yeah,
that's the only thing why I don't play them as much as I would like to. Like back in PC days, yeah, that was a thing. Like sure, everyone knows, all day.
Yeah,
but there's so much other stuff nowadays that I want to play, and that just takes a lot of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like y'all know I love No Man's Sky. Like just exploring, survival, all the type of stuff. Another thing, it just takes time. That's all. You know what I mean? But sometimes it helps just, let me just go fly in space, just go look at some planets, just to just detail and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, puzzlers, I would say.
It was a genre I was going to ask you about. Now I can't remember what it was. But whatever. So when we talk about game of the year, and you start trying to put categories of games into the same conversation for game of the year, not really, in a lot of ways, not unlike us being like, well, Wicked and Deadpool, right? Like two very different things, both movies, right? Oh, I know what I was going to ask you about Metroidvanias.
On and off. I think it depends on if it grabs me. Like Flashback is one of my all-time favorites, but that came from playing it back in the day. You know what I mean? So yeah, it just depends on
remake.
No, I have it, but I haven't played it. It's one of the things like I got it just off of GP, and then just haven't sat down and actually give it that or part two. You know what I mean? To try them yet. So nah, I haven't given it a shot yet. But
Joe, you Metroidvanias? Side scrolling.
Every now and then, like I'll get in and maybe try one or two here and there. But I would say I'm trying to think of what probably was the last one that I even played at this point. I honestly couldn't even tell
Shadow
you.
Complex.
He ain't play that. Nope. He ain't play that. I could tell you right now he ain't play that. Nope. I beat the brakes off that joint. And
I remember
that joint. Crack. Woo. Market a Ninja?
Nope.
All right. You ever play a game called Mark of Cree? Jokes?
Nope.
Oh, PS2, baby.
Straight. That don't probably trash now, to be honest.
Oh yeah, for sure. Right? Yeah. Joe looked like a Disney game, but that joint was tough.
That joint was like that, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. It's one of them. I seen the thing, and I don't know why the case didn't do it for me.
Hey,
what is it?
The case didn't do it for me.
That game was though.
You slip.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now. That joint?
Get that big spin go to work.
Crush, bro. I want to put up, so before we get into our personal kind of where we are on our own game of the year runs, kind of where we are and like what we still need to do as we finish out the year to kind of make some final decisions about that. I want to post what the Game Awards posted, at least for their game of the year. Yeah. We're not going through all that stuff. It's too many categories. Like it's just so. Here's your 5 options, right? So you have Astrobot, Balatro. Have you guys even heard of Balatro?
Nope.
I didn't think so. Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Balatro, I think, has a really, really good chance to take Game of the Year. It's a card game based on poker. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I don't play poker. I don't know how to play poker. And I don't really have an interest in poker.
Mm-hmm.
And I have talked about this. I know Sin has a thing for poker.
That's smiling face.
Yes. It's been a long time, but yes.
Balatro has so they have these decks. It's poker and it's based on poker and the way you win hands in poker, but you can build decks and you can swap out jokers and stuff like that. Like I really would highly encourage looking at it, but it's not on console. Actually, it might be on Switch now. I have to double check that. But that joint is like everybody's talking about that joint. And they just added like a bunch of packs. Like they have like deals with like all these other developers to like bring in versions of cards that are based on like IP and stuff like that.
I think I did see, because you know what, they announced there was a couple of I think they did like The Witcher and a couple of things, and I saw it originally and I was like, hey, what is this? And then when I realized what it was, I was just like, oh, never mind.
People are like hooked on it. Like hooked on it, play it all day, every day, hooked on it. Here's what people are upset about. Well, you probably know what people are upset about. Jokes, what are people upset about?
The Elden Ring.
Yep.
Because it's DLC. There's a part of me that I kind of agree because of the fact that it is DLC, but when you say Game of the Year, like I feel like you shouldn't necessarily be able to just base it off of the additional DLC that, I mean, granted, it enhances the game, but when we think of Game of the Year, we're thinking of what came out this year. Because in that case,
Shadow of the Erdtree did come out this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if we're going to do that, then you could have had like the Persona 3 DLC added in, which was really solid, and I feel like that just creates an issue when you just start doing it off of Destiny.
It could have been the final shape.
The final shape would sure as hell would have been in there, because the final shape was absolutely, storyline was absolutely amazing. So I feel like that is a little dangerous territory to go on with just the DLC.
Sin, where are you on it?
I think they should give them their own categories, and it shouldn't be recommended for Game of the Year. It's just added DLC content. I think they should get recognized for people that do put out DLC like Cyberpunk and other ones you name, but just give them a category. You don't even got to air it if you don't want to. You know, they can run it in between stuff.
In between the shows.
It shouldn't be up for Game of the Year. It should be, they deserve their own category at this point.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll tell you that I think if you want to include those titles that add on those DLC, I do think that they should have their own category. Look, it's their awards. So whatever you decide the rules are for what you consider Game of the Year, that's on you. Like, look, last week we did top 10 Disney villains, and if it was just up to like, if we set a criteria of like how evil they had to be, or how many things they had to kill, or whether they were funny or not, you know what I mean, or whatever, like we could have set any criteria we wanted for what does it. We simply do it by points. You know what? Whoever shows up on more lists, and then we have the discussion, right? What you saying, Jokes?
You only have 5. The Metaphor is also, if I remember right, is up for Game of the Year, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
I'm pretty sure it is. I think you got to scroll down. I'm more than certain that John is on that.
I'm with you, Jokes. I think it is.
That Metaphor is up for Game of the Year?
Yes, it is.
It could be.
Yeah, it is. It's just for what they ran out of space, so they had to put it on the next line, so you have to scroll down. That's actually not good. That's not, because that's not good, because people ain't gonna scroll down and realize that John is there.
Yeah, I mean, I think, because the cutoff, I guess, was right before they made the announcements. And Metaphor definitely was out for that. I mean, look, here's a. I don't think that Shadow of the Erd Tree should be eligible for a Game of the Year discussion at all. My argument for that, and I've heard a lot of arguments, both, for why and why not, right? It's, it's huge. It's like an extra 30 hours of gameplay. It's, but you still can't access it if you don't have the original
game.
So if they had released it as standalone, even if they called it DLC, but they made it standalone and you could buy it, play it, access it without having to already have Elden Ring, then I think it qualifies. But technically, as it stands, it's not a game. It's an add-on to a game. It's like, if you think about like Cards Against Humanity, you have a base pack and then you have add-ons, and you can't really play the game with just the add-ons. You need the base. You know what I mean? So that's the way I look at this, right? If you have something that requires or needs the base game in order for you to do it, then it's not a game in and of itself. It's another part to the game. It's another piece of story to the game. It's, in addition, but it's not a game in and of itself. And to me, if you do that, then that's almost like saying Gwent from Witcher 3 should have been up for Game of the Year as its own game, even against Witcher 3 being up for Game of the Year, because it is, in fact, its own game inside of a game. And then they did release it as a separate game outside of that game. But they didn't have to in order for it to be able to be included in this conversation, if that's, what you do. So I don't think it belongs in that category. I think when you say the word game, when you say Game of the Year, you didn't say content or video game content of the year. You said Game of the Year. And so when you say Game of the Year, Shadow of the Erd Tree is not a game. It's not a game. It's an addition to another game that already exists that you can't play under or access.
It's already won Game of the Year before.
Which I don't really care about that part of it, but sure. You know what I mean? Like, I do see how but that's part of why I think that there might be a strike against it. One, because there are a lot of people who are upset that it's even included as DLC. Two, that that Elden Ring already won Game of the Year once already, and doing it again is probably going to be really weird for people. But Balatro, as like this very darling indie thing
it is on the Switch.
that made it all the way. Yeah, it's like, I think that joint has a really weirdly good shot at it. What I will tell you is another thing that's kind of bothering me about it is, if you look at the category for like best narrative, Silent Hill 2 remake is in the category for best narrative. And I'm like,
it's a remake.
That game's like 25 years old.
Yeah.
That's not a new story. It's not a narrative that was released this year. It's a remake of it. Like, that's great.
Their own category. If remakes are getting popular, give them their own category. Like
I still think a remake could be in the Game of the Year field, because it's still technically a new game. But when you go to like those like the narrative, the story, like those pieces of it, it shouldn't necessarily be for this year.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure they could, just like you said.
I could kind of see like Final Fantasy Rebirth being up for narrative, because even though technically it's a remake of another game, they are redoing it. It's not the same, but it's not even the same story technically anymore. Like, it has elements of the same story, but it's not all the same story.
It's different enough,
for sure. That like, all right, we changed it. Silent Hill's just Silent Hill. It's just, you know what I mean? It's prettier Silent Hill, plays better Silent Hill. Story-wise, it's the same joint.
Story,
That's crazy to me. And under that circumstance, who gets that award? The team that remade it, this Bloober team, get the award for best narrative for Silent Hill 2? Or does Konami and the original people who helmed that game, do they get that?
They should definitely get a piece of that, because without them, you wouldn't have this here right now.
Exactly.
It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous, dog. It's ludicrous. Jokes, what are
Mhm.
you looking at right now personally for game of the year? Like, what's kind of in the running for you personally? What are the games? I'm sure you're looking at more than
Um,
one. What are the games you played this year that are
that are on there. So for me, funny we talk about remakes. Persona 3 remake. Um,
okay?
I think is probably my number one from this year. Um,
Interesting.
I'm probably at least probably like 150 hours, and that's including the DLC that just came out. Like I haven't finished it yet.
Mhm.
But I think from obviously it's not a new story. They've just, you know what, they brought it into
Excuse
this
me.
age. They made it look better, gave it a
Right.
better engine, like everything about it in the gameplay. It's just phenomenal. Persona 3 is probably arguably is probably the best of the Persona games that have currently come out. Persona 5, I would say, is probably the next one that's close enough to it. Maybe 4, but 3 is by far the top of the line for it.
Okay.
Um, Outside of
You
that,
haven't touched Metaphor yet
I have not. And once I touch that, I know that my
because
Persona
you played the demo, right?
I played the demo, and listen, from going from Persona 3 remake to going to this, you having some of those same elements just in a different package on there. I'm like, I'm already sold. It's just I know once I download that and I start playing it, that is going to be the only thing that I'm going to probably play for the rest of the year. I'll
It's on
probably have
sale.
it bodied
It's
by
on
the end of
sale
the
right now. It's on sale. Telling
year.
you, it's on sale right
Outside
now.
of Persona 3, Tekken 8 right at the top of the year.
Mm,
Um, I think had it not been for other games and just kind of, the same thing we talking about, jumping from different genres, I probably would still be completely just intertwined with Tekken. I jump in here every now and then just to kind of make sure that I don't forget how to play. But I think like the story's not that long. So I would say for someone that just wants to get in, if you want to play this story just so you can kind of experience and know what the Tekken world is about, I think it's like 12 hours that you may get out of the story, if that.
you don't need that long to
You
get
don't
through.
need I don't
You don't
know.
need that long to get
Depending on
through
how you
Texas.
play.
Yeah,
But overall the gameplay is solid.
you
Um
might need that long. I didn't need that long. Been playing
um
Texas a long time.
but great gameplay. The mechanics are good. Characters you get so far have been pretty entertaining. So I think that one's on the list for it. I also have in there obviously just recently Sparking Zero Dragon Ball.
Mm,
Um, Obviously for those that have been a part of the Budokai, the Tenkaichi, this has just been something that's been a long time coming. I would say for the most part, the game didn't disappoint.
mm,
For me, the most thing that I've been let down is just the inconsistency with online. I think
mm.
because right now I would say I bodied the story. I did everybody's main story mission. I did their sparking storylines. Like I've done all of it. So now
Okay.
really it's just me jumping in online. But when I'm doing like single player, just hop online and get one on one with someone, and it takes literally like 15 minutes just to connect to one person. I'm like, that just makes me not want to go back to it. That's probably honestly my only gripe about that game is just the one line. If they can get that fixed, perfect.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
we talked a little bit earlier. Destiny 2, the final shape, um, probably one of the best stories that they've done since the Taken King. Um, I don't want to get too deep into the story, but just like you get to experience like if you've played it, you know about the whole Cade situation. Um, Getting the ability to kind of get closure, I think probably it is to the Cade story in there was done very well. Um, I loved with the addition of with the final shape when they got ready to do like the raid. If you didn't necessarily wanted to do the raid, they made a variation of it that you can get in that plays with up to 16 people. That essentially is a version of it, but it's shrunken down so you can really just get in, experience it, and know kind of how the actual story ends. I thought that was something that was probably needed for those people that don't want to jump in and do the raid.
Sure.
Excellent addition. Only other thing I'll say outside of that, Pokemon. You knew that was probably going to come on the uh, trading card game Pocket. It's a mobile game.
How much
Now,
money you spent? How much money did you
I
spend?
I've been good. I've spent maybe $35. I've been good.
That's pretty good because right now the average right now what's happening for that game is they are making there's like $6.5 million a day spent in that
Coming
game.
in from that game.
Jeez.
And like some people
For
did, one person completed. So if you're familiar with the trading card, like they're not doing like say just your standard. It's a different variation of it. But someone has completed like the current card sets that are out, and it took them. I know they spent at least $1,500, and I forget the amount of time that they put in to complete the card set that's currently out. You ain't getting that out of me. But for those that are familiar with the trading card game, it's just a smaller, simplified variation of the trading card game. It's designed for you to be able to get in. Matches take probably no more than 10 minutes. You have a 20 card, not even that, 10 or 15 minutes, honestly. Um,
Mhm.
it's a 20 card deck versus the traditional like 60 card deck that you would run. And it's just designed for you to be able to get in, experience it without having to take that super long time to really go through a whole entire thing. I think it's great for someone that wants to kind of learn some of the basic mechanics of what the Pokemon game is before jumping into an actual true variation of it. Um, and for the collector in you, like even though it's digital, you want to go in and still try to collect everything, and so you can keep them on your phone and at the same time build those decks and go for it. But
Mhm.
uh, right now, I feel like those have been the biggest things for me that I've played. Um, I don't know. I never finished. I didn't finish Final Fantasy VII Rebirth as much as
What's your front runner right now? Out of the ones that you mentioned, what's your front runner right now? What
out
do
of
you think
those
is your
Persona 3, Persona
okay?
3 remake.
Okay. All right. Is there something that's coming out still that you think might shift the plane, or do
Change
you
that.
already know like it's if I play Metaphor,
Metaphor will
it's over?
probably be the one that would be up there for it. Um, but outside of that, like I'm gonna download the Power Rangers game. It's gonna be fun, but it ain't gonna be nothing that's gonna. I would say this nothing gonna be a game of the year contender. But other than that, I think with what I've played out of these, I think it's within that realm on there for it. An honorable mention to WWE 2K24. Solid addition. After 2020 was very bad, they took a year off and tried to start to rebuild things up. I would say 2K24 is a solid entry for 2K into the wrestling world, and I'm happy we got that. But that's an honorable mention that I'll throw in there.
All right. Sam, what are we looking at?
I mean, as y'all know, this year has been mostly a backlog gaming year and a free
Mhm.
to play gaming year for me. Like, I'm enjoying, the first Ascendant and ZZZ, but they're not like, game of the year contenders for me. I've just got into them, having fun with them. The two biggest ones for me, and there are a few I do plan on picking up before this Black Friday sale is over, like Metaphor and a couple other ones that came out this year that I want to get into. But Grand Blue Fantasy Relink was a really good, really solid RPG that came out earlier this year. There are a bunch of characters that you can earn and unlock in the game. There's plenty to do once you've completed the storyline with new missions, big epic bosses, like it's kind of standard in these type of games. But the game is absolutely gorgeous. The gameplay is really really tight and really really good, and it's overall like a blast to play. I only had one slight gripe with it the entire time playing it. I didn't know how to buy items, which was ridiculous. So I went through the whole game, didn't use the item till the boss at the end. I just was whooping everybody. I didn't need because I could heal off the break. So I was like, okay, so I don't need to heal. And if I go down,
Potions
other
and
people will get me up. So I was like, okay, like, like it wasn't super tough. Now if I boosted up the difficulty, yes, I can see where it could be extremely challenging. But for just a normal playthrough, solid RPG, like I said, beautiful visuals, great
This RPG
gameplay.
doesn't have stores.
It has a store.
It has a store
Well, depending, you go to the store in the town that you're in.
in different towns, right?
Yes, yes. It's all the same
And then,
stuff in the store. It's
So it's
stuff
one store. So they don't have like there's not like an item shop and an armor shop and
no,
a
it's the blacksmith and it's the item store. That's like it. And they would say, like, yeah, to go buy
item store.
potions, go to the item store. Okay. I go to the store. It's not there. It's just components to let me build stuff, like create new weapons and stuff like that. Like it was weird. I don't know. The couple I got was from open up chests. I just held on to the whole game. It's like, all right, it's weird. I literally went through the entire game. Did I buy one potion?
Maybe it's you, because
I went to them stores a million times, moving the tabs over to see everything in there.
I don't
I've
know,
been
bro.
all through them things. It's not
Even
there.
if you don't need potions, you just figure you stock them so they're just there, ready to go. But
I didn't need them. Like I said, I had a heal off break, so I kept everybody healed, and they were healing us. Like
You didn't
whatever.
look up how to buy potions in
Because
Grand Blue.
you know what? I didn't need them, so I wasn't like I didn't need them to like the very end. I needed like one or two at the very
I
end.
just mean so that you would know if it's just you or like
exactly.
are other people having the same complaint.
No, I was locked. I was locked into the story and all that kind of stuff. And I was cooking them, so I wasn't like getting frustrated or nothing like that. I was like, all right, whatever.
Hey, dog, I will tell you right now that would frustrate me
Dog,
beyond,
just the simple
beyond
things like that.
playability.
Yeah, couldn't get a revive by none of that stuff.
Good thing you ain't have Donald Duck, because it sounds like you'd have been screwed.
No, my crew was solid. I didn't have to worry about nothing. If I went down, they got me up. And then everybody would start healing all that kind of stuff. The team was, no matter what team I put together, solid. And everybody played different, but really, really well out of all the characters I was able to unlock. Like, nobody played like just like somebody else. Like, it was all unique, but the controls were simple enough to kind of follow once you understand the hang of the game. So it was that was a pretty solid, strong one for me. Other than that one, it was Like a Dragon, The Man Who Erased His Name. And I think that's specifically as for somebody who's been playing this storyline since early 2000s. This particular story, it was great to see how they tied it in from the switch over to Infinite Wealth with the new character. Because there's a point where Kiryu shows up in it, but it shows how he got to that point and like what happened kind of like afterwards. So that was really cool to like be a part of a witness. And the ending of that game, like the story and everything, was beautiful. And I think it's something that answers some questions that a lot of fans probably have had of it. And it seems like Infinite Wealth 2, that's the new one or whatever that came out this year that I'm about to start playing.
Yeah, I just gonna already say, did both of those come out this year?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, because I bought the other one once I beat this one, so I'm about to start up that one. And I think this seems like it'll be like the actual ending of Kiryu, with how that game ended going into this one. If that's what the vibe is giving, like, okay, this is like going to be the actual end of him and setting him off, hopefully, into the sunset. So, like I said, as a fan, that one hit very hard to me. What they did, how they pieced together all that stuff in that story. Just the ending of it, like I said, going into this next one was super good, super good. Like I said, that one actually made me cry at the end of it. I'm not even gonna hold you. It was that tough. Like I said, but I've been following since the beginning, so stuff I knew everybody was kind of wondering about or whatever, they kind of answered those questions at the very end, and it was like one for the faint of heart, I should say. But good stuff. But yeah, I'm about to start the one after that.
I feel you on that joint. I do want to. I need to. I don't have time, dog. I want to put my hands on the Infinite Wealth joint. I do, but like, it's not.
I didn't know how I was going to feel about it switching to an RPG like that. But once I got into it, like into the first chapter and see what they were doing with it, and like how they was like the type of villains you would fight around the street, I was like, okay, y'all put in some time and effort. This is kind of cool. This is kind of fun. So I'm super excited to get into the sequel since it did come out this year, so I can. Not just for the story, but like I said, I love playing that last one for the gameplay and all that kind of stuff and switching jobs. And I'm so hyped. Looking forward to getting that. But I am going to pick up Metaphor.
The pirate joint drop.
Got to. Yeah. Got to. I still need to understand why. So I have to play this game now that it's in Hawaii.
Why you don't even need a why?
Well, I'm into it. So like I want to know why. I want to just to make.
I mean, the trailer explains it.
I know, but he's in Hawaii. I know the game takes place in Hawaii, so I want to just see if there's a tie-in somehow within all the madness. So I'm looking forward to that. But Metaphor, I'm definitely picking up. I just picked up the Way of the Ronin on PlayStation. I plan on picking up Stellar Blade on PlayStation. And it's something else I'm not thinking of that I'm going to try to put my hands on those before the end of the year just to feel him out a little bit and see how I'm feeling about him. But that Infinite Wealth 2 is about to get destroyed.
That's the main joint.
Yeah, that and that way of the Ronin right now. Those two.
I'm gonna be real, man. Warhammer Space Marine 2, that thing was stinging.
Oh, that's action game of the year. Probably right now.
Dragon Age The Veilguard is cooking right now. Cooking right now. I'm loving that joint.
Okay.
Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Again, Metroidvania. Just it's I mean it is pure Metroidvania, but it handles things differently than what some of the regularly expected tropes are, because it also has like a decent action, like fighting, I guess, engine kind of in it. Like the action in it feels good to play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that joint, Tekken 8 definitely is sitting in that list for me. Animal Well is on my radar. I don't know if I'll manage to get all the way through it. It's not that long, so I'll probably just kind of try to beat the brakes off of that one pretty quickly. I've started it. But in terms of it also being a Metroidvania, it's not quite scratching the itch that I like in those kinds of games.
Mhm.
But it has puzzle elements that I like.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely an interesting one for me. Look, I don't expect it to be a game of the year contender for me, but I'm looking forward to Indiana Jones in the next couple of weeks. It's Game Pass. I'll try it and see what happens. I don't think it's going to end up being game of the year. I do have a feeling that if I allow myself to get caught up in metaphor, again, I just don't think I'm going to have time. I think that's the biggest issue.
Mm-hmm.
Is I don't think I'm going to have time for that. And I am seriously considering Star Wars Outlaws now that they did that update.
I saw
Oh,
that
taking out
update.
the sneak.
Yeah. Yep.
And
I was like,
a
ooh, I
lot
might
of
can
it,
go grab
it's a
that now.
lot of stuff that they went back and fixed about it, and I'm like,
I saw a video today just about their like the stealth, how they did so you can shoot better over the thing now, like a bunch of stuff they did to it. So I'm like, okay,
fixing
now I
the
might want to.
AI. Like I'm like,
Mhm.
it might be,
I feel you.
it
And
might,
it's on
it
sale,
might,
right?
it
Think it is, but it's not a. I. You know
Well, it's
what?
not like one of the bigger
is.
sales.
I
Yeah.
think only the special editions are on sale. I
No,
don't.
all of it's on
No, they're not.
sale.
Because I
I
looked
look
at
at
Oh,
everything.
I looked at Dragon's Dark when I was about to get it, but the special edition wasn't on sale. I was like, hold on for
Yeah,
it.
Dragon's Dogma. I would love to put some time into. What I did play of it, I did enjoy, but I definitely didn't play enough of it
okay,
to
yeah.
even really put it into consideration for being like a game of the year contender for me. Though I think it probably deserves to be there, or would if I had given it the time. I just
Right.
think timing for me, it just wasn't a thing. I also wanted to put time into the Iron Chronicles 100 Heroes. Like I played the
Mhm.
games from before the joint, trying to get ready for it, and then just never did it. Final Fantasy Rebirth, I started and was just kind of like,
I see that's on sale too. I might grab that.
it's cool. I don't know. I got over it. Um, I did play Kanitsugami, the Path of the Goddess joint. It's cool. It's not nuts, but it's cool. Um, I don't know, man. That might be about it. There's a couple PC joints I'm interested in, but I don't think I'm gonna bother
Mm-hmm.
messing around with. Um, there's a couple other joints I think are gonna be fun and could be some decent time sinks, but I'm probably not. I might try Tales of Kenzera's out, but that's another Metroidvania, and I don't think as much as I probably will like it and what it's doing, because that's up for I can't remember. It is up for something at the awards. Um, but again, I don't think it's gonna be quite what the Lost Crown is, and so I'm not so sure I want to do that. Um, might be it. It's not a lot of time left, but
Yeah.
I'd like for us to kind of come to a consensus by the end of January on like what we want to say is at least our individual
Mm-hmm.
games of the year. Let's wrap this up. Jokes.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on in wrestling?
This weekend is WWE Survivor Series War Games. So the next couple days, me, Sin, Marcus, gonna be doing some predictions for it. Um, War Games is gonna, I think, is gonna be kind of crazy. Sin, I know we talked about it, and literally the two matches that I told you was probably gonna end up on the card, both actually ended up on the
Yeah.
card.
Yeah.
So 5 matches. We're not overloading the card with like
No, not
9 matches
anymore.
like
No,
some
no.
other shows do.
Not AEW.
But 5 matches on the card should be pretty solid. We'll do predictions, get those up for you guys, so you'll be able to tune in and get your thoughts on those.
Dig that. When are you doing those?
I think we came to the consensus. I think it's tomorrow now. No, because we had to. We this week we had to change the day, but I think can't do it Thursday because you got
No, that's
you got
Thanksgiving.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just Thanksgiving. Now, if you want to record it in the morning, sure.
That
Just
may
let me
not
know.
be a thing because I may be going to see Moana Thursday morning.
Okay, yeah. We'll figure it out. It'll be out before.
You can't be going to see Moana before like 11 o'clock.
Hey, they got 8:45 showings.
You
You
ain't
numbers, you
going
are
to no
not getting up there. No,
8:45.
not to go see Moana, bro.
You
Stop
ain't going
that.
to no 8:45. Don't talk to me about what showings they got. Talk to me about what joints you going to.
Exactly.
It's like you telling me you gonna come play these games with us. Get out of here, dog. Sin,
Yeah.
what's happening in the anime chat?
See, no Thriller Park this week. Like I said, it is Thanksgiving, so we'll be back next week. Episode 9 anime chat will be up Thursday morning for you all. We have a little Naruto I should say, discussion. We top threes as always. We definitely get into episode 7 of Don to Don and what type of beautiful saddening masterpiece that thing was. That's most likely, I would say, probably the biggest talk we had this week about those two things. But the usuals are there: news, Thriller Park recap, and like I said, our top 3 episodes of the week. Along as what we think about some other stuff we're watching. Some stuff got dropped this week. Some stuff seemed to be getting picked back up that we dropped. So, yeah. So ReZero's ended. So we're getting back on Blue Lock to fill the void for now. So.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if it's no longer slideshow lock or if they change that up a little bit. So we're gonna get back into it and see. So, but yeah.
Sin.
Yeah.
How many episodes of why are you smiling? Why are you smiling?
Continue. It's just me thinking of where you're going. I think I know where you're going. That's all.
By all means.
Is it how many episodes I got left of The Penguin to watch?
No,
because you already said you watched that jump.
Okay.
You should be done with that.
I'm done with The Penguin.
Oh yeah, that's a discussion waiting to happen. It's Jokes who's behind on that joint.
Exactly.
How many episodes into Windbreakers are necessary. Thank you, Candy. Same to you. Before it gets like really good.
Well, it's just the first season. So,
Right. So how many episodes?
as far as when you say it gets really good, I take it you're not feeling it right now. You're checking his temperature.
They just be talking too much, dog.
Oh, no.
They
I
be
don't-
talking too much, bro. There's so much. There's so many inner monologues.
Right, but you know they know that's an anime thing.
It's murder, bro.
I don't think I've
There,
gotten
look,
past.
I know you're like what about 4 at least episodes in.
I was like, I'm not.
How
that
many
far.
episodes did you watch, Jokes?
I think I'm up to episode 5 if I remember right. And there's I get agreed about the talking in there for it. But that's just the typical.
Yeah, they're about to go 1-on-1 against another gang, and there's talking, but it's a lot of hands throwing. I'm talking 1-on-ones. We go into a theater, you versus you. Let's go. You versus you. They're gonna run it like that, and it's talking, and it's a lot of hands. just keep it a buck. It is.
It's talking.
It's a lot of hands throwing.
Hands. All right. Look, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us this evening. I hope everyone has a wonderful and happy Thanksgiving. Please take some time to give thanks for whatever it is you have to give thanks for. Find something. I'm positive there's something. We have Ocean City Comic-Con in a couple of weeks. That is the weekend of December like 12th, 13th, 14th.
Yeah.
We have 2 panels. It's 2 days this year. Saturday, as we talked about last week, our top 10 animated Disney villains, and Sunday, our Being Comfortable Being a Geek with special guest Lainey Cat will be joining us for that on Sunday. Highly looking forward to this convention. And then we have Popeyes and Pajamas right at the end of the year, followed by Nerd Prom on January 11th.
Oof.
Right back into the mixing pot. So, we're staying busy. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Again, if you're a Patreon member, check those posts. Again, there's one new shirt design that's up. There will be a couple more coming. So feel free to take a look at that. There's also some new clothing options in there. Stuff from like Adidas and we have some additional options that are in there. So take a look. Order what you like. Jokes?
Yes, sir.
Please tell the folks what I need them to know.
Remember, y'all, just because you have a well thought out plan doesn't make it a good idea.
With that, we are out. Toodles and lose.
Loading snacks.